Hi, I'm Christine. Do you love a child about to return to school soon? So do we. I'm sure you're busy getting things pulled together and came across this list that probably looks similar to what you might be working with. This one is geared for back to school supplies for kindergarten, first, and second graders. And the usual list of suspects like writing essentials, organizational helpers, craft materials, home computer supplies, and seems about similar to when I was in school. So hasn't changed too much over the years, but I'm glad to see that they've made some concessions for safety measures. For like scissors, they're recommending blunt-ended for younger kids. Good idea. Water bottles, they're suggesting stainless steel or BPA free to help avoid the toxins. And they even mention that some schools are not allowing rolling backpacks. I guess they could be a tripping hazard or something. But this is all well and good. But you know what? They're missing the most important fact that they're not telling us. We stumbled upon this a while ago, and I've been so concerned about it. I'm certainly not an expert, just kind of one who cares and shares like you for our children. We want our children to have the best and to be safe. But the truth is, when they're at school, most schools already have caved to the pressures of industry, and they've converted their safe internet connections that are connected by Ethernet cable um, perfectly fine to wireless. But now, as many of you may know, wireless devices emit microwave radiation. And more, you'll see people like on their phones. I look around and I see people who seem a bit like zombies, like we're living in this sci-fi reality where everyone's got their head down, mostly younger people. And I'm not adverse to technology at all. I use it. I'm using it right now to communicate with you. But there are ways to be safer about it. But all of these wireless devices emit microwave radiation, as I said. And, even if you set aside the science, and there are thousands of peer-reviewed, published studies that establish real harm to all living beings on this planet, and especially our children, given their thinner skulls, their developing blood-brain barrier, and the fact that they do absorb more radiation than adults. When you think about how food cooks in a microwave oven, the water molecules inside the food are vibrated, excited, if you will, to cook from the inside. And when you think about that, we are mostly water. I don't know. I think it does a little bit of a no-brainer to think that maybe there could be something to be concerned about here. Now, this technology has not been adequately safety tested. That should be a concern right there. But there's such pressure from telecom industry to push forward, keep it going, big, better, faster. They're doing it for the faster connection speeds. More people can download and stream their videos. That's good, but at what sacrifice? At what price are we paying? So we really need to ask ourselves that the more these schools have caved, and it truly is important that we understand how this works and how it affects all living beings. So, at school, students will encounter commercial grade routers or access points, usually mounted in the ceiling above their heads in all classrooms. In addition to this, they will be equipped with most schools, most classrooms. There certainly are exceptions, but they're more, becoming the rule than exceptions these days. But in addition to the routers, they will have these wireless laptops, usually courtesy of Google, with Chromebooks. And I don't know why they call them laptops, because that's the worst place we can put them, on our laps, close to reproductive organs. And I don't know if you know that I just recently realized that we girls, we are born with all of our eggs we'll ever have. So children in school subjected to this radiation goes into their bodies, goes into their eggs. It affects future generations, literally. Same with the impact on boys, having this radiation technology near their reproductive organs as well. All comes together to really, we need to be concerned about where this is headed if this generation doesn't stand up. But in addition to the routers, the laptops, many old-fashioned textbooks are being converted to iPads. And many classrooms allow students to carry their smartphones, wireless phones in the classroom. So you've got all this radiation going on. If that wasn't enough, many schools will enter into agreements with cell phone tower companies to lease space on their grounds. So they have the radiation coming from the towers. And there are even Wi-Fi in many school buses, mostly in rural areas where they call them rolling study halls. And they say it's such a great thing, you know, these kids can get a jump on their homework. They don't have to pay the price for having an hour-and-a-half commute each way, that by the time they get home, they're tired, they're hungry, and they will have had a chance on the bus to get their homework done. They've got their laptops, they've got the router, usually mounted right above the driver's head inside a metal box, rolling along, pinging to all the cell towers. This is even stronger radiation inside these metal boxes to our children's bodies and brains. They're sitting there in the buses, usually about 54 students in a typical school bus, 54 laptops, one powerful router, and all of this radiation bouncing and pinging inside a metal box. And then they get to school. 5 days a week, about 6 hours a day, they're subjected to this radiation. They get home, hopefully that they're not getting zapped as much at home, and parents are savvy enough to turn off the Wi-Fi router, at least when they're sleeping, when we're restoring our body and brain. But it's definitely something to be concerned about. So I would like to, with that introduction, I'd like to, just to say that, there's a list of symptoms that I'd be happy to provide for you if you'd like to keep on the lookout for your children when they come home from school. If they're saying, oh, I really get these headaches when I'm at school. I have a hard time concentrating. I didn't do well on that test because I just couldn't think, and sometimes they'll have tingling in their extremities, sometimes rashes. There's a long list, and naturally symptoms could be caused by a myriad of other factors. But a good test is if you suspect that their symptoms are being caused by this radiation exposure, is you just kind of turn it down, turn off the Wi-Fi at home, check at school to see if they have those routers and what they're doing about it if they're concerned. Let them know that your child is having symptoms. Check with other parents to see if their kids are reporting these things. But I'd be more than happy to send you a link to this list along with other articles, even a template to write your school board, administrator, principals about your concern about this technology. All you need to do is leave your email address and a private message for me, and I'll get that right off to you. So just to wrap it up, I'd like to invite you to spend I think the 18 minutes to take a look at the video you'll see posted below of a dad talking about his experience he and his wife had at their children's school, how they discovered it was happening, how they dug further and found out how this is impacting their children, how they voiced their concerns, the opposition they encountered, and I think you'll find it very interesting. I admire their bravery for putting forth this message. So with that, thank you for listening. I wish you and your children a very happy, healthy, and safe school season. Bye for now.